Alright, hello YouTube and welcome back to some more Kerbal Space Program. I have got the wrong things up in the background, or not in the background, on the other screen. To explain quickly what we're doing today. Of course, the long-term goal of our space program is to go out to Eeloo with a colony ship. We are probably nearly at the point where we could do that. But we want it to be really big and we want it to be really impressive and cool and have some really high-end tech. So, what we're going to do first, we're going to run one more, I think, there might even be two or three actually, but one really big mission before we do that, and that is a Jool Grand Tour. With a tourist! We're going to be bringing a tourist along with us. So, Grand Tour mission is a mission where you visit the planet, and you also take, you also manage a landing on all of the moons. You visit Jool, then go to Lathe, Val, Tylo, Bop, and Pol, and visit them. To do that, we are going to need a mighty impressive ship. This is going to be by far the most complicated mission I've ever flown. This is not something I've even really considered that hard doing before properly. Not about ships that were massively cheaty, and I'm not even sure I've ever even done that. So, you won't be able to see this because it's on a bit of paper, but I have drawn up a little diagram of the things we will need and a rough construction of our ship. We are going to need a lander capable of landing and refueling from Tylo. It can do that. It can land on any of the other atmosphereless moons. We are going to want a lander built to land on Lathe. Lathe has an atmosphere, so the landing there is going to be completely different. That will mean it can land primarily on parachutes, so it will probably have to be constructed a bit differently from the Tylo lander. But if we could build something that could do both, we could do that potentially. We are going to want a scoop. I believe we can refuel liquid hydrogen, I want to say at least, off of Jool. We're going to want a crew module. We're going to need something to bring a rather substantial crew with us. We're going to probably have a little look at who we've got available. That's the wrong building. Oh, we also need to take us out a little bit of research quickly. Oh, I didn't wait long enough for the lab. Okay, that's fine. I have something coming up that's part of this mission that will also potentially cover the last bit of science that we need. We will need the engine module, which will probably be using our Verne fusion engine. We will need a return engine to land the crew on Kerbin. And actually get back as well, and I'm going to do that as a separate thing. We're also going to need, on the craft, power, RCS and talk. We're going to bring both. Comms, we need some way to talk to Kerbin, ideally, during the mission. We will want a scanner setup. We're going to want to be able to scan the planets as we go past to find refueling spots. And we're going to, as our last on the list, but first in the program part, we're going to want to find out what's on Jool in terms of resources to refuel with. And for that, we're going to build a space telescope. Yes, unfortunately, we're not going to be starting this mission with the actual mission itself. We're going to be starting with a little bit of something we need to do first, which again is this telescope. So, going to be unmanned. I will add... I was going to check how many Kerbals we had. That was the other thing, wasn't it? Let me check the astronaut complex. We have 4 plus tourists, but they are some of our best. Okay. I was going to add something there, and it has completely escaped my mind. I guess I will follow up if I remember what that thing was. But yes. Oh, that was it. One thing I did find, when I checked the contract, I couldn't see in the contract building itself, I can't think what we call it, mission planning, I actually couldn't see an expiry date, which makes me wonder if there actually maybe isn't one. Perhaps. That'll make things a lot easier anyway. Alright, we're back. I had to pause very briefly. So, first observation. This... I was about to say, this thing doesn't have an attachment node for attaching it, like that, but apparently it does? Okay. Second thing. So, this is our space telescope. As far as I'm aware, this is our best bet for, possibly our only bet for analysing planets at distance, I think. Open up the door. No, I can't do that. we're going to scan for hydrogen and deuterium. I guess helium can't be found in orbit, so that might be another reason why you wouldn't run the more effective mode of the fusion engines, because you can't always necessarily get it, I suppose. So, if we can detect both of these things around Jool, we can refuel the craft there, or around its moons, because we could potentially refuel from around a moon if we had to. As long as we can refuel our main craft, this will be a relatively easy mission as long as the craft has a good chunk of Delta V. If it does not, things are going to be a bit more difficult. For the moment, we're going to just focus, though, on building this thing up. But yes, we set what we're looking for, which we've done. We now need power. This actual telescope should not actually be that complicated, really. It's basically going to be a little bit of a... Oh, what diameter is it? Is it only... I was going to say, I don't think it's just a meter wide, is it? We should probably put an aeroshell around this, even if we don't technically need to. This is a space telescope, and you guys saw the James Webb one? If you guys saw anything about that on the news or anything, that's one of the most expensive things I think humanity's built for its size. Probably for its size, it probably is the most expensive thing built. Apart from potentially some fighter jets, I suppose, maybe. I know a few of those ran hugely over budget. So the American ones. F something? F-35? One of the new ones, I think. I think there was some big fiasco, but I'm in England. I don't know too much what's going on over in the US. So let's give this a quick and simple setup. Let's also sort by some sensible metric, because I have absolutely no idea where these things come weight-wise or whatever. Do we have that orange? Yeah, we'll go for orange for this one. We need an antenna. Nothing too fancy. We're just going to want that 5K Omni, wherever that is. 5 whatever it is Omni. I can't find it. Oh yeah, the 32. That's the one, and we'll also have one of those generic 16Ss. Served does well for many a launch. This will be the ST, Space Telescope, 1. Jool Observer. We have Telescope, but no, Jool Observer. It's not the fanciest the name, but it gets across the purpose. I believe we got some new engines recently. Can I remember what they were called for the sake of using them? It's not one of them, because that's the wrong diameter. The Skiff one of them? No, but the performance out of that's very good. It wouldn't take much more to orbit with that. Hey, well, let's just stick that on top of a SRB, honestly. Should probably do it. Yeah, thoroughbred. Yeah, I'll do it. Lovely and simple for what is technically quite an advanced craft. It is a space telescope. Can we make that orange? Ooh, classic. Oh, it's the hazard stripes back. That's nice. Do appreciate that. Oh yeah, hang on. Yeah, we go... Change the colour of that? No, the thoroughbred is white, I guess. Regardless, although I know we can set the fins to be black. Why not? Splash of colour. Bit of variation from a normal craft. Yeah, this is expensive for... Oh, wow, yeah. So they've kind of replicated that in game. The space telescopes are expensive. I do know what we haven't put on it, though. We haven't put any solar panels on it. I am realising at the last second, but thankfully in time. Right, we're going to want some of those. Oh, yeah, and the rotation's really janky, because it's a really weirdly set up thing. Let's put them on the sides, and use that to slope them in a bit more. Okay, maybe not those ones. That doesn't look quite right for this sort of form factor. Oh, we could do that, actually. We should expand out. Yeah, that'll look okay. Yeah, I wasn't going to go for the round ones, but actually I think that'll be okay. And this should work. Right. It's nice and light. So, yeah, very simple little space telescope. Let's go. Simple, but not cheap. But again, the tourist board is... Oh, there. Pardon me. kindly funding a lot of our mission stuff. So, you notice I said about science? I think the space telescope could also generate a bit of science. I could be entirely wrong, but assuming I'm not crazy and I am correct on that, as well as its analysis, we can use it to get that last little bit of science we need. If not, we could run the lab again, maybe. We don't need a huge amount. Again, I think the lab is the lab is definitely slowing down before anything else. But I believe we don't have a deadline on this contract, so I think we could take as long as we like. So if we have to do something in between the main mission, we can. But I think even... I have a feeling a round trip is something like about 5 years each way, so about 10 years. So I think we're actually still pretty... Even if it expires after 30 years, and that wasn't just the mission slots becoming available after that time, I think we're still pretty good. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, lift off. This launch may not take very long, given how powerful this engine is. Even if we launch it to 1 million. Control. Yeah, it is turning under control. I believe signal's not going to be an issue. You can auto warp if you have to. Look at that. Smooth as anything, at least at the moment. Like one of the nicest rockets we've built in a while in terms of handling. At least so far, anyway. The only thing it doesn't have is potentially much torque, but should be fine. It's only going to have to do 1 or 2 maneuvers ever. And point at Jool. Yes, I don't know quite how space dust scanning works, but if I remember correctly, it was point at planet and turn on scanner and tell it which one the point it's supposed to be scanning, I think. But I don't know. We'll find out in a minute. Star control, that's also good. Take over the skiff. Still has pretty decent thrust to weight. It's also nice. It's like a ballistic missile. Only not intentionally trying to blow things up. Which is rare for Kerbal, but hey ho. Well, we haven't had too many explosions on this mission, so I suppose I can't really say that. I really like this design. I know it's super simple. It's a tube of a rocket motor on the end, but I really like the way it sort of looks and has worked so far. It does really give some vibes of it being some kind of missile, though. Let's activate that, so we actually have all our antennas active. Start survey, huh? Might have to look into how that works, because I thought we could pick what target it does, but maybe we need it in orbit first. Okay, solar panels appear to be working. Control seems good. Everything does really just seem to be working as intended, which is very nice. It's a super simple rocket compared to our last ones, I guess. In camera, start survey. I guess that's what we do, but we'll try pointing it at Jool first and see if that influences it. Or it might just be gradually surveying the whole system. I genuinely don't know. Might even be the wrong thing. I might have just put the wrong part on, but I'm pretty certain that is the one that's used for space dust, which is the mod that allows us to do the atmospheric harvesting. Which is certainly going to be interesting. It'll be very interesting to see how being able to refuel mid-flight goes. I had a vague idea for something, okay, with the series that I wanted to try. Do a bit more... It's a little bit of a story, maybe. And I haven't confirmed I'm going to do it, but I haven't given up on it completely yet either. I had the idea of changing the sort of setup of the system. I tried the old Sigma rescale mod, which rescale and a combination of other things to rescale the system to like real solar system sizes at 10 times. It kind of worked, but it was janky. And trying to add some extra parts to help us deal with that did not quite work. So I ended up giving up on that idea. For the moment, at least. It's something you could potentially come back to later. Could even work for a real just to shred up real solar system playthrough at some point. Would not be opposed to that. Again, I'd like to do Stormworks at some point. But I'm gonna be honest, I've really liked playing playing Kerbal. It's felt like a lot of fun. And people do seem to be enjoying it, so yeah, there is that as well. By people, I mean at the moment like a couple of guys, I think. But hey ho, I will take that. Ah man, this is slow boning. Yeah, so I guess the slight problem with this is should we say minimal torque, low torque issue perhaps, because I forgot. Of course, we've only got this little reaction wheels inside this probe. But again, these are actually still way better than you get on a real spacecraft. The real ones are. They probably would not be fast enough to turn this thing round in the time we have for this maneuver. Again, partly amplified by the fact that real-world Earth is a lot bigger. Again, I believe Kerbal is roughly scaled down 10.625 times, roughly. It is actually quite analogous to our real solar system aside from that, but it is smaller. Okay, second rising. What's going on? Let's target Jool. Set as target. We'll point to target in a moment. I believe this is also, the surveying is a thing that can take time, so we might have to just start assembly of our rocket. Yeah, what we could do with the colony ship, with the Grand Tour ship, if we build every part except part 5 and the scoop, so the part 5, which is the scoop, the engines, and part 3, which is the scoop, because they're on the extremities of the rocket anyway. If it's not possible, we can scale this back, and we can use a dummy weight to simulate delta V on the engine module. So yeah, I think we'll do that. If it takes time to scan, if it scans immediately, then that's obviously super easy. Right, point to target. I don't know where our target is relative to us, but if we're here relative to the sun, put Jool there. I think that's that green spot over there. It might even be Eeloo over there. No, Eeloo would be somewhere more there. I think that is a planet. No, there aren't really any planets in that direction. I think it's a background spot, but I'm pretty confident that's Jool. I'll say it's observing Jool. It's working. Hydrogen and deuterium spectrometer are getting something, but I think it's still surveying. Let's have a look on space dust and see if space dust is... No. Have we time warped for a little bit? Oh. Yes. So we can't see what they are, but supposedly it did say... Oh. Power's out. Did say we had found bands around it. Now, I don't know if we can't see it because can't tell what they are yet. Oh, no, here we go. Deuterium. Thin, but it's everywhere. Same. Okay, I think we're good. I think we can go ahead with our plan then. Okay, cool. That makes that first part easy. Let's start on designing the first part of our ship. And we will start with the core, and that will be the crew module. This will need space, ideally comfy living space for, I believe it was 5 Kerbals. Could even potentially bring more. Actually, yeah, we should bring more. We should bring a lab. We should bring a lab that could be researching on trip, perhaps. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea at all, actually. So we'll probably hire another scientist. So I don't believe we have to. Pilot, engineer, pilot, scientist, tourist. Yeah, if we bring another scientist. New recruit, Leafree. Congrats, Leafree. You're going on the biggest, most important mission we've got. This is tradition for the new recruits. It is nothing to be concerned about. Actually, no, I think we needed 3 scientists for the big lab, right? So we'll bring another one. Sel Quinta. They do cost a bit of money. But nothing we can't afford and nothing we couldn't potentially run another mission to get. I think we don't even need to upgrade the VAB yet. I'm not even sure we're ever going to need to. Considering I don't know if we're going to launch anything with more than 255 parts in one go. And if we do, oh boy, that's going to be a flight. Don't know how that's going to go. So, our crew capsule. We still haven't got the science we need for that. For those crew living space parts. I always forget this stuff. Okay, one moment. I'll go sort that and we'll be back in a sec. Alright, and with that done, we are now, once again, good to go. We ended up with more science than I thought we had, which makes me wonder if that orbital survey potentially did give us some science, just for running. So we took a little something extra. I also took, as well as the habitation one, we took the logistics upgrade, which was actually backtracking a little bit. It was one that we'd passed over previously. At least I believe I'd taken it. I don't know what it comes under. Is it under utility? We have access to some logistics modules, but I don't know where they... Yeah, let's look this up. I thought they'd come up under fuel tanks. No, there they are. Yeah, it was ones like this. The PPD CRG1 logistics module. Now, these are basically, I believe, sort of, yeah, lightweight tanks that can have different things put inside them. Don't know if we'll need them for this mission, but as you can see, there's quite a lot of things they could have in them, or they can have, so we might potentially use them. There's also some other previous versions we've had and different profiles and whatnot. So, yeah, that could be an option for later. So, but anyway, for this one, we're designing the sort of command module / crew module. So things like this now, which we can use for our, I think this is a centrifuge. We'll definitely try and have at least something like this. But we'll start with, this is going to need a docking port on both ends, some kind of core. Now, I believe our engine is a 3-meter profile engine, or 3.75, whatever the 3-meter profile is. I can't remember off the top of my head. Let's quickly drag it up. Is the Vern. Okay, what does this thing even run on? Idea of the rough mass of the fuel tanks. Fission pellets. Yeah, nuclear pellets. Cell Delta B looking like not very much, but I think that's because we're missing something, right? No, not all of our parts, just the engines. No, it is just fission pellets. I'm going to guess that display is wrong then. Oh yeah, 44,000 Delta V over 34 minutes. Yep, so output. But we're going to be going with a 2-meter form factor, mostly because I believe that is the largest docking ports we have, and the larger they are, the more, I believe, stable in theory this craft should be. I think these are the universal storage decouplers, which I've not tried yet. I like their colours. Do they have any moving parts? They kind of look like they might, but apparently not. There's also the Clampatron Senior, which is also a nice reliable option. And might be the one I go with, just for the sake of, again, it's proven entity. Not that I believe there'd be anything wrong with the other one. Oh, we do have a large profile. Profile? That was weird. Yes, I went a bit Mr. Squidward. Maybe we will go larger profile then. So. Actually, no, it probably won't matter because we're going to be doing different sized docking ports everywhere. I know what we'll do. We'll have a ground on the back, and then we'll use that lab that shrinks to a 2-and-a-bit meter profile. And then we'll have a 2-meter port on the scoop, because I believe that's how big the scoop is. Actually, that would be another thing to check quickly. How big actually is that scoop? Facade refueling scoop? No, that's a 3-meter profile as well. Okay, maybe not. We can always transition back. Anyway, lots to consider with this one, but we'll get to it as we go along. Oh, you can. Oh, it could be inline. Really? Oh, or we could just mount it as part of this module. I didn't realise we could combine the two. That does somewhat simplify design, but I'd like to have that on the front. Partly for the looks and partly because it makes the most sense to me. So, our lab, I believe that's the one. Delphi. Oh, God, that's even wider profile? Okay, that's actually a bit too big, if anything. Fate Deep Space Laboratory. Yeah? Yeah, we can connect the control core straight to a lab. What is this looking at? Crew of... Crews required 1. Okay, so we'll probably be overcrewing this one, but that's fine. They'll have plenty of space. We've got enough space for the crew already. But we are still going to give them, like I say, try and give them some actual comforts. Which means just a little bit of extra actual space. That's a habitation module. We could go for that. And then like we have a few different types of centrifuge. But if we went for that, that would be a pretty good setup. Yeah, we have some I think we have some 1 meter ones. I think we have 2 of those. But there's barely a difference there. So we'll go for that. We could go for that as the crew module, actually. Yeah, we'll go for the even bigger crew module. Give them lots of space. They're going to be out there for a long time and visiting multiple planets. And really, we've been a little bit stingy on the crew space before, if anything. You know, a little bit of an ambition, you know. Not that I'm sure many people have noticed. You know, we only put them out in there for, is it like 15 years or something on one of them? I actually can't remember, but... methinks perhaps too long. Do we really not have an adapter for 3 meters? Really? Really? Okay. We have to use an empty fuel tank. Oh, I thought we'd have a nice 3 meter adapter. We actually don't. You got something for engines, but yeah, okay. Yeah, the Octogird is the closest one, and that's not quite the right thing, shall we say. That's also too big. Yeah, I had a feeling that might be too big as well. This one? Okay. Yeah. Can we just do structural? No. Do monopel? No. Right, empty. Okay. We will deflate that for the moment to get it out of the way. So we have at the moment, we have command center, this part. We have our lab. We have a large crew living space, including centrifuge, which we can set off to show in action. That will provide a bit of gravity for the crew. We are now going to need to provide the next parts of command and control. That's the basic living space. We should also add the... yeah, we'll attach the upper module directly above the centrifuge. We might add a battery pack, but it's too small. No, we won't add the battery pack just there then. We will need extra batteries, so I'm not going to launch with so little power storage. That, however, should about do it. So we're going to need power. We're going to need... we're going to use some big blanket arrays for that, I believe. We're going to want lots. And as said, we are going to launch this in we are going to do this in multiple launches. I believe, yeah, we have a bit of an option between cells. They are heavier, but they are more powerful. And we're going to use the advanced ones. Also going to use 4. I want to have full coverage all the time. It is going to make the craft heavier, but I am fine with that. We can check. What we'll do as we assemble this craft is we'll check the vessel mass, and we can use that to work out exactly how much weight our final engine section needs to be moving. We can mock it up in the hangar, but I think in this case it'll be easier just to build the whole thing. We're going to give it RCS fuel, and it will have some thrusters. So that's one of the things on my list. Probably quite basic propulsion on this part, but it might not have a particularly sophisticated RCS control, but it should at least have some. It's going to be quite heavy, and we'll want forwards and backwards at the very least as well. Let's see. That's not what I thought it was. That's the one. Let's toggle the flag on that quickly. Oh, it's a ton of internal part storage. Yeah, we'll make use of that. We'll bring a... yeah, we could bring a whole set of surface bases with us, actually, couldn't we? We could deploy one on every planet. It would be worth it. Yeah, okay. We'll probably bring a full set of surface bases then, because we think we're going to have the space to do it. So we'll include that as part of this. I'm a little over time, but we'll finish this. This will be GT 001 core. Okay. Let's shut that down for a sec. Does it stop rotating? It does. No, it does not. Wow. Is that the two animations combining? Stop rotation. Don't know if it's actually going to stop or not. Anyway, we'll leave it to it. Right. So we have RCS. What else have I got written down on my list? Things to remember. Torque. Yeah, we should probably add a reaction wheel module. We may have to turn it off at times if it gets too torquey, but... there we go. It has stopped. Okay, deflate. Because we also want to get an idea of the profile of this thing when it's not fully extended. Comms. Comms is the next part. Or the last part for this bit's main one. So, we are going to need to be able to talk to the Space Center, and we're going to want good range. Now, that's a pretty ugly looking part. That's large. We may end up going with our normal antennas, but as you know, we probably won't end up going with our normal antennas because they will be in the way. They will specifically actually be a problem because they're so big. We may have to anyway, looking at that, but let's see what other options we have. Do we have any other 400? No, we really only have two, huh? It's either the giant dish reflector that might be slightly in the way, or the very ugly looking surface attached one. We're going to put that on there, in that case, because we're going to need two docking ports on the side of this thing to launch to operate a lander. Just have one of these. I've got two, have we? Yeah, no, we'll just have one, because one's going to be in the way. Okay, is that going to be in the way of these? Tiny bit. Okay. It's further down. Okay, that should definitely be out of the way of the solar panels. Just in case, I'm going to put it down even further. Yeah, under there, so it's not in the way of the LCS thruster. Hey, oh, look at that. It's even just about out the way. I'm going to put that there, so it's definitely out the way of the RCS thruster. I want this ship to be a really, like, to be a nice one, but also to look like it should actually work. Right, under pass. Oh, almost bullseye. Perfect. Okay. So, anything else I'm missing? We have the ability to move. We've got strafe. We've got forwards, back, left, and right. We've got space for the crew. I think the last thing for this, we'll be working out a launch vehicle in the next episode. The last thing for this is aesthetics, so we'll keep the stripes because I like those. Do we go insulated? Because while I know it's more realistic, I don't like the look of insulated most of the time. Do we go for bare metal? Okay, so that's the central tube. There's options for this, so that's just those parts, is it? Do we go with our normal metal like we always do? Well, the tube's still insulated anyway. Alright, we'll go with insulation on this particular craft because I guess not that part. I guess that part will be metal. Yeah, okay. Maybe not. Because actually, considering these don't have insulation, we'll stick with our normal metal look then. Just be the centrifuge bit that's insulated. Change the colour on that. I'll change the colour on that. Okay. Alright. So that is the core. When it's all nice and coiled up, it is quite substantially sized, but I believe is not that heavy. Yeah, 31 tons, which is not light by any means, but it is not especially heavy for the size of it. Or not at all heavy for the size of it. When everything is fully unfurled... Oh no, we're not dead. We're not done yet. I need to add the docking ports. And I have realised we're going to add the ports and we're going to have landers attached to this thing, but they're going to have to fit in the halfway space between the centrifuge at the top and the solar panels at the bottom. So I am wondering, do I actually move the solar panels up to, say, here? Check if they rotate, they're not going to hit the centrifuge. No, okay, there's a bit of clearance there. I'm actually going to slide these down a little bit more because I really don't want those to hit the thing. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. YouTube maybe doesn't want me to have that shape on my craft though, because we know how weird, slightly picky YouTube is though, so we're just going to slightly adjust those for the sake of that. We'll retract that. Yeah, and then we attach the docking ports, which are going to go here. We'll maybe cover that window. Assume that's a docking port on the inside. So, these probably make sense to be, actually, yeah, probably make sense to be those. So where... I think I just passed the surface attachment point. Yeah, there we go. For surface attachment points, and then we go for telescopic clampetrons. And they're going to be the 1 meter ones. Okay. Yeah, so let's fully deploy everything. Get an idea what we're working with for scale. There we go. She's a majestic looking craft. Weighing in at a meager 32 tons. No problem at all. I say, knowing full well that I don't have a 32-ton launch vehicle yet. This should be capable of ferrying our entire crew, plus the base stations that I've just realised we've forgotten to fill it with. Definitely over time now, but that's fine. There are 5 moons, so we'll bring a full base station's worth for each moon. We have a level 4 engineer who could potentially even hit level 5 mid-trips, so we need 5 antennas. If we run out of space, we can potentially look into extending it. Level 5 antenna, or level 4 engineer will give you 4 power out of each one. But it's going to be, or what we'll have, we'll have seismometers on all of them. That'll be 5 seismometers. We need 5 experiment control stations. We'll also need space on the landers, I've realised, to take these down. We'll unload it from the landers into the main craft. The iconographer only works without an atmosphere, so we'll have 4 iconographers. 1 weather analyzer, because that only works with an atmosphere. 5 goo monitors. That works anywhere. And yeah, so each planet. Oh, we're also going to want EVA surface kits. Do any of these other ones have inventory space? Yes, we'll put those in there for now. They're only going to take up a couple of slots, and we'll fill one of the other slots up with, or 2 of the other slots even up with repair kits, because we have no idea how much damage we're going to sustain. Let's make sure we have plenty of repairs available. Right, okay. So, on each planet, there's going to be 1 antenna. So 1, 2, 3, 4, between those 2. Or between these 2, sorry, 4, 5. So we'll need, we're going to need 2 panels for each one. So we're slightly out of space. We'll need 5 more slots. Do we have that on board? A little bit of space there. Is there any space in here? No. Okay, so we need another... One last thing we need is a... I believe we can use one of these. Up here, potentially. Oh, there we go. Ah, and that solves that issue as well. Okay. And we need at least another 5 panels. Cool. Okay, and with those minor additions, we now weigh 33 tons. 33, almost 34 tons. That added almost 2 tons, actually. That was not an insignificant weight of surface equipment we got loaded on board this thing. But again, we're going to try and deploy a full base station on every moon. Okay, so that is the command and control. It is incapable of mining. We're going to leave that to the landers. But it will be capable of handling a lot of the mission. What we should probably also do is quickly add a probe core to it so that it is capable, in theory, of operating remotely. Since I don't know how many of our crew will be on board at any one time and how many will return to the surface. You know what? Nah, we'll trust the Kerbals, especially since we don't seem to have a module that size. Alright, hopefully you've enjoyed this episode, the first bit of major planning and construction for our Grand Tour mission. Next time, we'll see about getting this into space and getting things ready for our overall mission. And until then, I will see you guys all next time. Bye-bye.